Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Plastinapolis. As always, Johnny Cannon, Ape here, accompanied by Mia, Parvati Parrot.
Hi,
Hi, Mia.
it's me. I'm here.
We've been
Feeling
away.
fabulous.
We've been
Yes,
busy.
it's been too long. We've had a lot of changes.
Personally, psychologically, emotionally, demographically,
Yes, it's been
sexually.
quite the trial.
I know. So, obviously, we are back here in Plastinapolis. Our love child, may she reign.
Long may she reign.
Yes,
Long may she reign.
I love that. Queen of the North.
Queen of
So
the North.
I love it.
Oh, now I want to rewatch Game of Thrones.
I know I did. And it was well. No, this was a few months ago.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
was gonna say, well, it's been that long since we've done this, so that makes
yes,
sense.
yeah. So
Oh,
unfortunately,
hello,
I
Panam.
I know I love her. Plastinapolis too. Here, let's just follow her. Unfortunately, I don't think. Unfortunately, I don't. Oh, I lost it.
Oh
Wait, no,
no, come
there she
back.
is.
Just
So
click. Yeah, there you go.
I wouldn't say unfortunately, but hold on. Let me crack open a cold one with the boys. Stand by.
As I have hot tea.
Yes. So, I think we're going to end Plastinapolis for now. Matt and I came to the conclusion that we've kind of done what we wanted to. And I think now it's just a matter of a little finesse here and there to make things more efficient. And that's not award-winning content. That's
I
no.
mean, it's like, yeah, I think it's time to let Plasti have a little bit of rest.
Yeah, hiatus, if you will.
Yeah, just a little. I mean, just a little in this particular um
Map,
map.
save game, whichever.
Yeah, yeah, mostly because like I think this was a lot of us learning how to do things and to make things better. But there's certain expansions and mods and stuff that I think would be cool from a more challenging standpoint.
Yeah.
And I think it would be better if we, rather than trying to finagle it into this as part of the whole thing, we switch it up, try something a little bit different, and see where we get with a whole new playthrough of sorts. But we couldn't just leave her to die, and we don't intend to even leave her really. She'll always have a place in our hearts, and we will come back to her. But for the time being, I think it's time for her to take a little nappy nap. So we were thinking of maybe like looking around and kind of seeing like our favorite parts, what we like, what we didn't
Yeah,
like.
like all these boats.
Yeah, lots of boats.
And how we
Very, very many
actually
boats.
we took the time to and care to name the majority of them. That's a lot. That was a lot.
Hillary gone wild. So
Bless
many
her heart.
blessings.
I know. I mean, look at all these high rises. I mean, that's growth. That's opportunity. That's 1980s Ronald Reagan at its finest, honey. So,
Absolutely.
right. So I'm very happy with this. This game, honestly, it's one of my favorites just because I don't know why but
It.
it's it
I can. As I said, I can say for me, I like it because it fulfills my need for micromanagement and my
yes.
unhealthy obsession with mass transit. You put those
Yeah,
together, and I love it.
all of that.
But it's
All
all
of that.
typed. It's all like I like that you can just like what today I feel like making road networks. Well, I never feel like making road networks, but today I feel like making like an airport system. Then I'm like, no, I'm gonna use this map and just do boats, and then trains, and it's just like it plays into my stupid crazy crow brain of this shiny
Yes.
shiny shiny shiny. However I want to do it. Now it can also be overwhelming, and that can work against me as I'm like, oh, I should get this industry up and running. But that's what I have you here for because you can help get us back on track
The domino
while my
effect,
stupid
shall we
program goes
say.
crazy. Yes.
I mean, I get that. I
But
do. I love that. So I think eventually you and I can start a new map with its own new sets of challenges.
hmm
I don't think I want the Plasti name to die, so maybe that might come back at another iteration in some way, shape, or form. Maybe she may live.
Well, that's the other thing too. Obviously, this map will always exist. This map will always be something we can revisit, but we could also look at considering like the other dimensions of Plasti. After all, there are infinite dimensions. There are by by extension and in theory, there are infinite Plastinapolises out there just waiting to be destroyed. Sorry, wrong game. Just waiting to be created. Sorry, I know this is the reason I got distracted. Again, hello, stupid crazy crow brain. There's a game that's coming out, a remake of one of my favorite games of all time, called Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne 3. Or, I'm sorry, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne.
Oh.
And it starts... This isn't really a spoiler because it happens in literally the first scene, but the world ends in like the first scene, and then you have to fight through the world with demons, and it's really good, and they did a HD remake, and it's coming at the end of the month, and I'm very excited because I'm definitely going to stream that one, because that is just quintessential JRPG goodness.
Japanese?
Mm-hmm.
Japanese roleplay?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the game itself is in English, but yes, it is the JRPG genre.
Yes.
Which, of course, is my bread and butter.
Yes, you do like that. You got me... you did get me into playing Pokemon again.
Yes.
Wait, did you? I think you did, yes.
If I didn't, then I'm going to take credit for it.
Yes.
Yes, Sword and Shield. I still haven't beaten Shield. I'm still on gym number 6.
Oh god, I'm done. I got the expansion packs, but I just haven't gotten back into playing them. Also, okay, may we pat ourselves on the back for this bridge work and like railway. I
mean, I can't really take credit for most of that. You did a lot of that stuff, but yes, we can definitely celebrate its grandeur, its magnificence, its brilliance.
My only problem is there's no direct highway connection. You have to go through the city to get to the bridge.
So, and I think that's one of the things that we really struggled with a lot in this particular playthrough is we had a lot of ideas, but we kind of have to, in a game like this, you really have to big picture everything.
Yeah.
So, kind of trying to piecemeal things together, like highway networks and that sort of thing. It can be done, but to be more efficient, we kind of need to be a little bit better at preemptively planning, I think.
Yeah.
But that being said, for what we have and what we did, I'm very happy with it.
Oh, absolutely.
Is it perfect? Of course not, but nothing in life is perfect.
No, and that would be boring if it was.
Yes. You're really good at the finessing and the creation of like intricate stuff, and I prefer to think a bigger outside the box, like, okay, like, I know we need to get this, this, and this, and this, and if this town's going to be that, how can this benefit this town, and what's the most convenient way to do that? And then, it's oh god, it's a lot, but that's why I like it, because it's a lot of stuff to think about, and there's always something new to work on.
It's a lovely domino effect. I just said that before, but I still think it reigns true, and I think that satisfies some part of my brain, as you say, your crow brain. Yeah.
The endorphins.
Yeah.
Endorphins.
So
what's the serotonin? Not melatonin.
Yes.
That puts you to sleep.
Yes.
Serotonin.
Because I know for a fact you and I want to start a Software Inc. playthrough.
Yes.
Desperately. I don't think you and I worked out the details yet, but it should be fascinating. It should be wonderful. It should bring us pleasure.
It should, but I also feel a little bit bad because we just keep talking about other games when we're supposed to be extolling the virtues of dear old Plastinapolis.
I mean, I'm sitting here looking around, basking in its glory. I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Too.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm getting distracted thinking about demons.
I love how we were like, "Ooh, let's add in a whole bunch of new towns," when like there are towns we barely even touched.
I know. Although, to be fair, some of them deserve it.
Well, yes.
We don't speak her name.
No, we don't.
We don't speak her name.
You know what? Ceremonially, why don't we just fucking delete her?
I'm fine with that.
You know...
There's a train. There might be a train in the background. I apologize.
Oh, it's okay.
The train is rolling through the neighborhood. I'm not sure if my mic's picking up on it or not. But
I don't hear a train. Choo-choo, I hear a train in the game. Oh.
Ooh, it's just the sound of... This train is carrying Corona to hell.
Well, the mask mandate has been lifted, but I will still be wearing my mask, even though I am fully vaccinated and have been for multiple weeks now. Here nor there, but, in celebration of, America being, almost 70% vaccinated?
Oh, is it that high?
Oh, I don't know. I'm maybe it's wishful thinking. I
honestly don't even know. I don't know what the numbers are at the moment.
A a high percentage for vaccinations thus far.
We'd love to see it.
So, are you ready for this deletion? Are you ready?
I'm ready for the cathartic release of this demon.
Bye, bitch!
Demon! Be
Demon, be gone! Oh, I love that.
Rest in pieces.
You know, and in her wake, let's have something, a new birth. An afterbirth, if you will. Oh, gosh.
Ew.
I know.
Ew, Michelle.
Ew, gross. Who is she? Do we know her? Do we want to know her? Arlington. I can deal with her.
Arlington.
Who's Arlene?
Some bitch named Arlene.
Ugh, I don't like her. Okay, so not that we are going to do anything with her at this present juncture, but let me just make it better. Let me just fill her needs real quick.
Gross.
Let me yeah. So
disgusting.
Yeah, as we said, Matt and I were kind of. It's been an interesting past, few months, shall we say? But you know what? Life is a journey.
And sometimes that journey is full of bees.
Very that. Very that.
Very that.
Very. Thank you, Monique. Very that.
On the topic of Very That, and this is in no way sponsored or even approved by them, but if you are a person who enjoys Drag Race, or just like drag queens in general, the Very That podcast by Delta Work and Raja is well worth a listen.
I did not know they had a podcast.
Well, they do, and it's fabulous, especially when they talk about like their experiences back in the early days of drag in like the 90s. I think that's the decade they were in.
How old is Raja?
A lady never states her name.
No, I do love her hair though.
Yes, her hair journey is one for the gods.
Gods. Okay, I don't want to be in the industry zone, but I want to put a train station in this town. Oh, fudge.
Darling. Okay then, that went well.
Well.
I like how we're like, we've learned and we have improved. Plops railroad into the literal ocean.
At least it was a passenger and not a cargo.
Well, somewhere someone is screaming about the waterfront property you are damaging, but he's not here right now to defend himself.
No, he's having lunch with friends.
He's having lunch?
Dinner.
With friends?
Excuse me. Dinner.
I was gonna say, it's a very late lunch.
That lunch has lasted a little long.
It's like, excuse me, sir.
It's no longer a lunch.
Pringles.
Pringles?
I want Pringles.
I've eaten all the snacks in my house.
I've eaten a fair few of them, but I'm sick of the ones that I have, which is the most first world of problems, I realize. I do have barbecue chips. I can make do with those.
I do. Oh,
obviously
yes.
Not now because we're recording, and most people don't like the ASMR chewing based on the internet reactions to the lady from the chew, but...
Well, it's the chew.
And yet people are mad about it, even though right in the title it says ASMR the chew, and then people get mad, like, why are you chewing? Oh. Bitch, you're the one who clicked on the video, and I know you clicked on it because you saw it in a meme somewhere. Because that one of her eating the Clausen dill pickles was all over the place for a while as a meme react.
Oh my gosh. Okay, where the fudge am I going to connect this railway crossing?
Oh god.
I know. It's the most taxing of questions. I don't know. Yeah, you and I kind of entertained the thought of a podcast, but two questions beg to be asked and possibly answered, depending on who we're asking. Number one, I don't know if this is a question, but more of a statement. We are just two simple white men. What gives us the right, the audacity to speak and think people want to hear us?
Well, that would actually be very in character for two white men to just automatically assume that people want to hear us. But no, you're right.
Right. Now, but I feel that with as much love to both of us, we aren't the most exciting people in the world, but we have a comedic outlook on things.
We do.
Therefore,
what we need to do is find a niche and fill the niche.
Is that niche kind of your average gayness?
I guess. I mean,
we're obviously not we're not bad looking, but we're not models. You know, we're not clubbers, but we're not complete hermits. So it's kind of average in a good way. Am I selling ourselves way too short?
I mean, in general, I don't think so. If anything, you might be overselling us.
So if any of these shows nowadays have anything to say about anything in this world, there's something to be said about the averageness of things, the mundane.
Right.
Nothing comes to mind, but
well, like for sake of example, going back to drag queens and podcasts, Priyanka and Brooklyn Heights up in Canada, they're starting or just started a podcast, and I believe it talks about like viral famous people or something. I mean, I haven't looked that deeply into it, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, and that kind of makes sense though, because the Drag Race recaps are pretty much covered. You got Sibling Rivalry with Bob and Monet, and then you've got Race Chaser with Alaska and Willem to do like the main stage series. Then you got The Chop with Latrice and Manila to do a lot of the international versions of Drag Race. Jinx Monsoon has a new podcast.
Oh, does
but
she?
I mean, she can kind of have a podcast because she's had like a crazy interesting life. Not that we haven't. Well, I'm sorry. There is no way in hell I'm going to compare our lives to Jinx Monsoon's life.
Well,
but
no.
I see exactly where you're coming from with that, though. It's like everybody has a podcast now.
Right. So, obviously, I don't have a degree in marketing,
Okay.
but at the same time,
I took intro to PR once.
There you go. So you're set.
Well, I mean, the only thing I remember from that class was that one time I had to escort a drunk sorority girl to class because I was running late and we ran into each other on campus.
Oh, well, there you go.
So
this is absolutely a horrible.
Oh boy, that's certainly a choice. Lots of choices are being made there.
So many choices. I just want to get this shit up and running. Look at this. Look at this crossing. Death becomes her.
My cankles.
Right. But like a lot of the time, I feel like these pods, they have a overarching theme. It's not just people just randomly talking.
Right, which our pod would most likely, as we are proving at this exact juncture, would just be us like haphazardly.
I mean, honey, look at the material. Look at the material. I mean, I don't think you and I think we suffer from the same branch of adult attention deficit disorder. I honestly, like, as time goes on, I'm actually thinking I should probably get tested. And I also feel kind of like weird saying that because, the new thing on TikTok is everyone has ADHD and it's being, kind of glamorized in a way, which is absolutely ridiculous because actually ADHD can be very debilitating for people who legitimately have it. Correct.
But that being said, I've also been finding myself literally having borderline impossibility to like accomplish multiple things at once. Like for example,
Correct.
Cleaning the house.
Correct.
Still haven't been able to clean the whole house because I start one thing, get distracted, do another, and then it just like becomes overwhelming. And before I know it, the day's gone, and I'm sitting in front of the YouTube watching like the top performances from The Voice around the world. Side note:
this is why I live with somebody because I can do around the house spot cleaning, but can I do a deep cleanse? Absolutely not.
No.
That's not happening. That's not the tea. That's not happening.
The only time I cleaned the house recently was when my realtor or my property manager texted and said, "Hey, they want to show the house tomorrow at 3 p.m." And I'm like, "Fuck!" So that gave me a reason to clean. So then I cleaned everything. But unless I have a reason and like a deadline, and the deadline being like in the next 5 hours, it doesn't always
Right. But honestly, half the time for me, I'm only cleaning because like my mother and sisters are coming over, or my mother-in-law. And like honestly, if you're coming into my house, I'm not Betty fucking Crocker. I'm not gonna roll out the red carpet for you. Like my dogs, for example. I'm not gonna put my dogs away because you're coming into my house. You are coming into my dog's house.
Right.
So I love my dogs dearly. They are a lot at times. They just have so much love to give.
So much love and nowhere to put it.
Correct. So therefore, like bitch, you're stepping into their territory. Don't come for them. Anywho.
Don't come for me, dog.
Don't come for me. No, darling. Okay. All right, that's up and running. Thank God. So I think at the end of the day, the question begs to be, excuse me, the question begs to be asked. Again,
Oops.
not a question, not a question, just a fact. Oh, speaking of Drag Race UK, honey, one of
I
the
haven't seen it. I need to get on. I need to get my life together and go
girl
get Wild
season
Paddleboat and
2,
just watch it.
one of the best seasons of Drag Race I have seen in a long time.
Well, that's good. I actually just about to finish season 6, rewatching season 6.
Because, girl, if we are honest with each other, these past few seasons of Drag Race have been not the tea for me.
They've been like okay, but not
And honestly, if
not the
if
best.
we're being honest with each other, Drag Race Down Under, the pits. I am not feeling it. I think I think the budget is not there. Rue's not into it. I don't know.
That I do agree with. I do think that Rue seems like she's kind of
I
like,
think
and
she's
that was something
stretched
that
thin.
that was something you and I discussed previously when I first started doing the rewatch of season 6. Is early seasons Rue was really into it. Like she was happy, she was excited, she was very like it seemed like she was more engaged. She had more fun with the contestants. She was kikiing more. She was actually judging and giving critiques. But now it just seems like she just sits back and kind of lets Michelle and Ross or Carson or whoever the hell is on the judging panel do like the primary speaking, talking, whatever. And all she does is like get angry at people sometimes. Like when she made
Yes.
all 6 of them in
She's Tyra
season 11.
Banksing.
I
She's Tyra-ing. So I
a
don't
little
know.
bit, yeah.
Although, honey, full on Paris is Burning realness. I've been loving the show Legendary. Obviously not sponsored, but hey, HBO, if you want to sponsor us, we're open to open.
I can be purchased.
Yeah, this show Legendary. I mean, it is bringing back classic ballroom culture. It is Black Lives Matter. It is here. It is now. It is LGBT community on the whole. I'm living for it.
I still have not watched it, but like I said, I have HBO Max. That is on the list, and it is probably the next thing I will watch.
Yeah, it's just it brings to the table part of Drag Race that I no longer feel is being 100% focused on, which is the art of drag. Where this show Legendary, it is focusing on the art of ballroom, the art of dancing, the art of being a house community. Because I think when you boil it down, a lot of what's been happening over the past 30, 40, 50 years in the LGBT community is a lack of family, a lack of meaning, a lack of community. And I think for a lot of people throughout the years, this ballroom community has been that for people, has been their families, has been their communities, has been everything. And it's bringing it back to like, I mean, we've come amazing strides in however many years, you know what I mean? I mean, we could be married now. If you, let's say if you were to ask a member of the gay community way back when that we'd be able to be married, they'd be like, "Say what?" It'd be a whole different story. So we've come a long way, but it's just I think no matter what, there's gonna be that kid out there who feels like they have nothing, they are nobody, and to have these kinds of shows, this kind of television out there, in my mind, it's going to prevent somebody from doing something irreversible. It's going to give them that sense of community. It's going to be the sense of like they have a family. They're not scum. You know what I mean?
Well, and that kind of gets back to the conversation about representation being so important, because when you are like you and me, for example, we've never had to worry about seeing ourselves in anything. Like as white men, we have been everything. We've been in everything. The highest levels of jobs, highest levels of entertainment. Like it's usually been almost until very recently, when you really think about it, completely and totally dominated by white people and white men especially. But now as you see more and more people, and this goes, I'm not just saying this in like an entertainment standpoint or like a TV show or whatever standpoint, but I'm talking about in professional settings too, and showing those professional settings. Like, for sake of example, I remember back, when was it? A year or two ago, and I wish I could remember more of the details on this, but Target did a commercial with a woman who was talking about it was a big deal because she was like the first black woman owned business to have such a huge trade deal with, I think, Target for some products or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember on the commercial she mentioned how, she wanted to be the face of this so that the next black girl out there could see that. And I'll never forget, like, a lot of people, like in my hometown, in my family and stuff, were angry about that. Like, well, why does it have to be the black girl? What about all the girls? And it's very all lives matter bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you don't understand. Like, there's never been a question that a white person can succeed in business.
Right.
Like, that's never been a thing to even think about, because it kind of goes without saying.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say that anyone can't, but when you see these kinds of things, it
When
really
you see
does
that
matter.
representation.
Yes, when you
Mm-hmm.
have that representation, when you see someone like yourself doing those things, it really does. It makes it more real. It makes it more understandable.
Absolutely.
And that's part of the reason that I love seeing these kinds of things. And I know a lot of white people will say shit like, "Well, why does it have to be like why? What about why is it Black History Month? Where's White History Month, bitch?" It's literally all.
It's
of
White
the
History Month every
It's
single
all
fucking
history.
day. Calm down.
Exactly, but it's that kind of stuff where they like, why do we need this? It's like you don't even know
You can't.
why it's needed. You can't even see past your own. Well, here's the word they love. You can't see past your own privilege to know why it's important.
Right.
But that's neither here nor there, and I'm preaching to the choir on this one. So
Right. And also, like, I feel like it's one of those things where you can't not get. This is kind of deep seated for me, not because I'm one of those people, but just because something you cannot visualize, that doesn't affect you, or you don't understand necessarily, just because you don't understand it or you can't see it, doesn't mean it's not there, doesn't mean it's not a struggle, doesn't mean it's not true.
exactly,
And
like,
I
I know
feel,
exactly what you mean by that.
yeah, and I feel like the moment you, like, and again, I'm not, it's just one of those things where you have to put yourself in other people's shoes. Even if you can't visualize it, you have to at least give them the benefit of the doubt that that is a struggle for them. That, you know what I mean?
Well, it's their lived experience, and just because it's not your experience doesn't
Right.
mean it's not true.
Thank you. So,
And that's one of the best things about like going to college, getting out of my hometown, and meeting people from different cultures and different walks of life, and kind of really seeing that for the first time.
yeah.
Seeing how people act, and then kind of coming to realize some of the stuff that I even said and heard growing up, just because I thought, oh well, everyone else is saying it, so I didn't think anything of it. Then you speak to people who are hurt by it, and you hear them, and you see why it's hurtful, and how much of it is really just that impactful. And it's something you, like I said, I would never take. I would just take it for granted, because what do I know? What do I care?
Right.
Versus someone who's had to live that their entire lives, and that's what they end up going through.
Thank you for watching
So.
Plastinapolis.
I know, we've done such a good job of talking about our town.
Right, but I mean,
Ricocheting between topics.
to close that entire conversation, be a good person, love everybody, and look at yourself through other people's shoes or other people's eyes.
And don't be a dickhead. And
Don't be a
just, like,
dickhead.
don't gaslight people either. That's fucked up too.
Yeah.
Don't tell them that they're not experiencing what they're experiencing. But anyway, yeah.
Anyways, so
Plastinapolis.
I think to end on a wonderful note, Matt and I think he and I love gaming in general. I think we're always going to be there for gaming, so I think we're going to end this lovely little Let's Play now, but maybe we'll be back. Let's not sell ourselves short, okay?
Not the end. Whoa.
No. So, anyways,
singer.
yes. So this is goodbye to Plastinapolis for a little while until we start something new. Yes. Okay,
Absolutely.
That was really annoying. Anyways. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for watching our lovely little Plastinapolis. Honestly, our first kind of real Let's Play. So we've learned a lot. Hopefully, we have grown for the better.
Absolutely.
For the betterment. I love that word. I don't know what it means because I just made it up. Betterment.
Excellent.
Yes. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Have the day you have. Goodbye.
Have the day you deserve.
Goodbye.